The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. We are live in all 16 regions of Ghana, on over 30 affiliates on Radio Somali in Wa, Bedering FM in Bumkrugu. We are on Kekeli Radio in Ho, Fafa Radio in Juja, and Jata FM in Karaga. We are live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook. We are on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water always flows. This afternoon, more labor unrest in Ghana. This time, teacher unions, NAT, NAGRAT, and Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana declare nationwide strike with immediate effect over delay in the negotiation of their collective agreement.
That 29th of February would have been the end date where we should have completed the negotiation. The lackadaisical attitude of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the state as a whole on our negotiations, and specifically to our conditions of service, is absolutely nothing to write home about.
We have details of that immediate action by these three teacher unions. Also, PRC insists ECG has no business using money from the cash waterfall mechanism to buy fuel, revealing the situation has left VRA and Gridco in dire financial strain as countdown for ECG to respond begins.
ECG in December went ahead to make the requisite arrangements and procured the fuel.
What is ECG business in buying fuel? ECG, take your portion and maintain your system. It is not for you to appropriate to every individuals how much this person should get, or do they deserve it or not deserve it.
But this afternoon we ask, is there a turf war behind the public spat between the two entities?
You don't call the bluff of the regulator. We are their police, and you owe a duty to respect the police at every point in time.
We are also live in the Ashanti regional capital, where the ECG is counting its losses following the vandalization of some high-tension towers belonging to the company. Also this afternoon, Agenda 111 Secretariat admits only 20% of the hospital project can be completed by the end of this year. We have excerpts of the report updating on the progress of work.
By close to December, we should be able to be done with about between 50 to about 60 of them.
Hospitals
should be completed and ready to use.
111 hospitals will not be completed by January 7th.
Yes, I think so.
Meanwhile, ranking member on the Parliamentary Health Committee attempts to clarify John Mahama's manifesto promise of building hospitals in districts with none.
We have standard prototypes of district hospitals, but we again engaged David Ajayi and paid millions of Ghana cedis to him to redesign. If it is not to satisfy family and friends, what is it?
We have sports.
Sprinter Benjamin Azamati embraces criticism following the 100-meter final setback and eyes redemption in tonight's event.
And it's the end of the road for Burger High Life pioneer and our Bro for hit maker George Darko as he passes on at 73. We'll get to hear from renowned ethnomusicologist Professor John Collins about the origin of the High Life genre and how it used to be music for just the elites in society. That and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. Please do stay. I am Memefa Pawe, and thanks for staying with us. Now we start off from the Labour front, and there's more Labour unrest on the Labour front here in Ghana. This afternoon, three teacher unions, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, the National Graduate Teacher Association, NAGRAT, and then also the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, CCT Ghana, have all declared an indefinite strike over delays in the negotiation of their collective agreement. Thankfully, Thomas Musa, a leading member of NAT, also joins us on the line with details of what we are learning. So what exactly has led us to where we are today?
Okay, so thank you very much. Good afternoon to yourself and to all your listeners. The first thing is this. The new collective agreement, or the old one rather, expired on the 21st August 2023. And before then, we served notice for the need for us to start the negotiations for the new one. So when we served the notice, we also agreed that by February 2024, we need to get it done. To walk you down memory lane, when we signed our earlier agreement in far back as 2009, it took the government 11 good years to renew it, and that was the 2021. And so this time around, we told government that this particular one that has been renewed will not wait for that particular long period. And because of that, and taking into consideration the historical antecedent, we all agree that by the February this year, 2024, we should conclude it. And so the negotiations started, and we all cooperated. We were all, engaging among other things. But anytime we meet, the side or the government side will come with excuses, without mandate. And we think that they are wasting our time.
What sort
and
of
they
excuses?
Are taking us for granted.
Mr. Musa, what sort of excuses were the government side giving you?
They will tell us that this is the mandate they have. And you could see that they don't even have mandate. They will tell you this person has traveled, among other things. And we are mindful. Like I indicated. Once upon a time, our collective agreement as far back as 2009, when it expired, it took 11 good years for it to be renewed. And we told them that, look, this time around, it will not happen. And so once we agreed on February, let us all commit and get it done. Today is 20th of March, and we are seeing, and it is clear that the same game plan has been deployed. But this time around, we are saying no, no, and no.
Okay, and that's why we've declared this action today. But I want to find out, is it just the collective agreements that's the key concern for these three teacher unions, for which reason you're on strike?
We have the collective agreement, and we also have the scheme of service and other related items that we've itemized all those things in the press release that we gave out.
And does it include the freezing of some of your salaries by the OSP? Do you have that concern?
Yes, it includes that one, and it also includes the frequent changes of the academic calendar and other schedules without recourse to the teacher unions, and for that matter, negotiations, and also the laptop matter, or the laptops. All those things are part of it.
Okay, and I would want to find out, at least anytime a strike like this is declared, you have the NLC coming out to say that indeed this action is legal or otherwise. I would want to find out if you've exhausted all those concerns, at least informing the NLC amongst others.
We have already served notice. About 3 weeks ago, we wrote to our employer indicating to them that if not, this thing is not resolved within the next 2 weeks, we shall certainly advise ourselves, and the Labour Commission will serve notice to that effect. And as of last week, Friday, we have not heard anything. Nothing. And we think now, look, this time around, it should not take us 11 years to get this thing done.
And this
because
is a nationwide action. Briefly.
It's about our wives, it's about our children, and it's about ourselves and our future.
Okay. And this is nationwide, and it takes immediate effect.
Everybody. And so let me take this opportunity to announce to all teachers that wherever they are, if you are in the classroom at this moment, we want you to understand that effective today, this morning, we have declared industrial action, that is strike, until further notice. We are not going to school.
Okay, we are grateful for your time. Nas Thomas Musa is the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT. And if you're just tuning in, three teacher unions, the key three ones, the three key ones, that's the NAT, NAGRAT, and then CCT Ghana. They've just declared an immediate action over some key concerns, including their collective agreement. Now let's focus on energy, and the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission says the Electricity Company of Ghana acted irresponsibly when it used part of the money accrued crude under the cash waterfall mechanism to purchase fuel to generate power. The decision, which left the Volta River Authority VRA and the Ghana Grid Company cashless under the mechanism between November last year and January 2024, is said to be impacting negatively on the operational capacity of the two entities. The PRC yesterday issued a one-week ultimatum to ECG to respond to a set of demands, as it warns it may resort to sanctions if the demands are not met. Director of Regional Operations and Consumer Services with the Commission, Alhaji Jabaruk Abubakar, tells my colleague Elton Broby that the ECG cannot operate on their own terms.
Let me make it clear that it is not supposed to be done that way. The cash waterfall, you are supposed to collect the money and pay everybody within the value chain. It's not onto an individual disco to determine how he appropriates whatever resources has come in. So now, if we have gotten the information to the point that something is being paid outside the cash waterfall mechanism, then that is something strange to the regulator, because we all know that this is the mechanism that we have in place.
And for you, how is ECG's refusal to pay, for example, VR and Greco, how is that affecting their operational capacity?
You don't know some of their plants are out because they couldn't maintain them. You don't know Greco, some of their systems are failing because they couldn't maintain them. You don't know that because of some situations, some of the power plants do not have fuel. Why would ECG buy fuel? If they were paying, there would have been enough money for 4 people to buy. So why should ECG now go to be buying of fuel? These are all objective issues that as media we should investigate. What is ECG business in buying fuel? And the individuals from ECG can make such issues that, they were directed to buy fuel. As what? These are some of the real things that we have to be very, very careful. You see, we have a value chain. Collect the money, give everybody in the value chain. Let Greco be able to maintain their system. Let ECG take your portion and maintain your system. It is not for you to appropriate to every individuals how much this person should get, or do they deserve it or not deserve it, irrespective of what.
That's the Director of Regional Operations and Consumer Services with the PURC, Jabara Abubakar. They're speaking to Elton Brobe on the Pulse on the Joy News channel. But is there a turf war behind the public spat by the PURC and ECG in recent times? Jabara Abubakar says they are simply executing their responsibility as a regulator.
You see, people don't know, because this one, at least, because this order has come out to the media, that's why they are talking about it. We have done that before. We have done that before to other regulated entities, and they are aware.
You imprison somebody?
Not getting to that extent, but they had to comply. You don't call the bluff of the regulator. Honestly, it's only, because mostly because sometimes because the regulator is diplomatic and those, and that is why sometimes people are taking those powers for granted. No, you don't call the bluff of the regulator. The issue is that the regulator has the right to demand all whatever documents, and the law is very explicit on that.
Well, the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament has since summoned the Energy Minister and Managing Director of ECG over the recent public spat. Speaking to Joy News, Chairman of the Energy Committee, Samuel Atachia, said they consider the issue important and want to establish the basis for the fracas between the regulator and the distributor.
Minority on the committee mooted the idea that because of how topical it has become in relation to the power outages, we should bring Electricity Company of Ghana and the rest of the stakeholders for an interrogation. That was eminently sensible. Nobody was going to fight this arrangement. So they were scheduled to have come today, but unfortunately, the minister was trying to give an excuse that they will not get the full complement of the individuals who come and dilate on the matter. But we told the deputy minister, that it doesn't really matter if the heads of those institutions are not around, but there will always be somebody who can speak for the head of the institution. So we should revert, and so they come tomorrow. So this is where we are, but my instincts are that I will play a responsible referee. The issues raised by PURC are very serious. I wouldn't downplay it at all. I've also heard what Electricity Company of Ghana is trying to put across. I will not eat the meal until it's cooked.
That's the chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, Samuel Atachia. But as we await the ECG's response to the PURC, there's an issue in the Ashanti region and threatening to cut off more communities from the national grid as thieves vandalize high-tension towers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana. The ECG is having to cough up several thousands of dollars as the company begins emergency maintenance to restore power to some affected communities. We can hear from the Ashanti Regional Manager of ECG, Kofi Fletcher.
Our tower line, which feeds areas like Echankrum, Ejosu environs, Efidiase, and its environs, Kumewu, and its environs in Aguna. We came this morning to see that the towers holding the lines have fallen. Eight of them have fallen on the ground. And last night, this happened. In fact, it happened last night during the rainfall. And we came to site and realized that the cause of them falling was as a result of some boat nuts being removed, some members which have been removed.
That's the Ashanti Regional Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Kofi Fletcher. Now, in a related development, in the wake of growing concerns about the challenges in the energy sector, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry is the latest to lament about the ravaging effect it is having on their businesses. According to the Chamber, most of its members are running out of business as a result of the unstable power supply. Highlighting these concerns, among others, President of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Clement Osei-Amoako, admonished MPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to prioritize the energy sector to save businesses when he's elected.
With the power outages, I don't think that I know it's temporary. And your outfit has the power to turn things around because we've done it before. And this is not a big problem for you at all. And so that is our concern as businessmen, when we are working, we must be able to forecast into our future and make projections because we are paying labor. And so if we know we are not going to work today and there is light off, we know what to do and we'll apply our resources efficiently. So with all due respect, we humbly ask that you work and get the power restored for us to do business. The Chamber is of the strong belief that when the aforementioned measures are put in place, the private sector will grow and contribute significantly to the employment creation and poverty reduction.
Well, let me bring in my colleague Samuel Mbura, monitoring that engagement, stakeholder engagement between the NPP flag bearer and first the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So, Mbura, is this engagement with the key holders in the business sector an indication that Dr. Bawumia has officially started his campaign?
Exactly. So this is the first step to collect views from the stakeholders, private sector, and then to form his manifesto. Then he hits fully the ground forward.
And do we have reactions from the flag bearer on the concerns that were raised by the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, so Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said that the concerns are communicated by Chamber with fiction, and he will do everything possible to address them affected.
We need to be very tax competitive. We need to be able to bring interest rates down for businesses to be able to function. You're competing, you are borrowing at 32% and your competitor in another country is borrowing at 5%. Ab initio, you've lost the game. You are not competitive. So we need to understand that and be able to bring, we need stability in the exchange rate and also a lot of predictability and reasonableness on the import duties that we pay as a country. And I think the president just mentioned about our neighboring Togo, for example, and how we are losing containers to Togo because we are more expensive in terms of import duty than Togo. I will comment on that. Utilities are another issue.
NPP flag bearer and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia currently engaging the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Is also expected to engage the Ghana Bar Association. There's more of that on myjoyonline.com. Now, only 20% of the Agenda 111 hospital projects can be completed by the end of this year. That's according to a report by its Secretariat titled Ghana Priority Health Infrastructure Projects, currently before Parliament's Health Committee. The report comes after flag bearer of the opposition NDC, John Mahama, described it as overly ambitious, despite the the initial promises of delivering all 111 projects costing 1.9 billion after the 4-year term. The report cites challenges affecting completion of the majority of them. My colleague Mami Sinyamiche Thompson has a copy of that report, joins me in studio with what we know. Let's get into the details. This was confirmed by Chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament, Ane Free, on PM Express last night.
Indeed, MFA. And so the portions of the report available to us indicates that indeed just 20% of the 111, I beg your pardon, of these hospitals will be completed this year. Now, if you look at the portion of this report, it says that it also gives a forecast of how many or how much percentage of the hospitals will be completed. And if you look through it, it says 20% of the hospitals, as we have already indicated, will be completed this year. Now, going forward, 20% of it could be completed in 2025. That is, if all of them haven't been completed this year, moving forward into 2025, 20% of them will be completed. Now, moving forward to 2027, just 30% of them will be completed. And so it tells you that even after 2027, 100% of the hospitals will not be completed.
They explained to us that the consultants they've not even used it because they have not gone on site, because just before you go on site, there's litigation on the land. And these are few of them, about 10 to 15% of them. That is not the doing of the president, neither is it the doing of the secretariat. It is just because natural litigation on lands in this country, making your own project to execute so difficult, is what has set it back. Should we blame President Akufo-Addo for this? Now, the sites that are very active are 90 sites.
There are various stages of completion.
Yes, 90 sites are active. If you go today, you see that there are various stages and they are on. And it is the expectation by the Secretariat that by close to December, it should be able to be done with between 50 to about 60 of them.
Hospitals
should be completed and ready to use.
For the avoidance of doubt, all 111 hospitals will not be completed by January 7th.
Yes, I think so.
Well, we can hear from the ranking member on the Health Committee, Kwabena Mensah Kando. Meanwhile, claims the project was launched so cronies of the government could prompt. He, however, struggled to clarify his flag bearer's 2020 manifesto promise of building hospitals in districts without them.
The preamble reads, so to motivate health workers and provide additional capacity for service provision, the next NDC government will, and let's go to the queue, provide district hospital in district where there is none. That's what this says.
Yes, but that amounts,
cannot be. Did you see any 88 there?
No. Read it again.
Okay, let's read it. Provide district hospitals in district where there is none.
Where there is none.
Good. So listen to
how many district hospitals?
No, you are getting it wrong. That's where you go wrong, and that's you are falling into the same trap.
No, there are
please. You get it wrong. So please, relax. Under John Dramani Mahamad's administration, we said we're building E-blocks, okay? And the criteria was that we were starting with district without, district without secondary school. That was the criteria, okay? So if I say that I'm going to build hospitals, but I'm going to build these hospitals in district without district hospitals. Have I said I'm going to build all?
That's it.
Does that mean that? You read it.
It's qualified. It said none.
Districts where there are none.
Well, that's the ranking member on the Health Committee in Parliament there on PM Express, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. The Midday News proudly sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. We return from the break with sports, and it's the end of the road for Boga High Life pioneer and Akko Tibrofo hitmaker George Darko as he passes on at 73.
George Darko, a quintessential high life legend who took the genre to another level. He rose to fame in the 1970s. His music is simply timeless. His first album, The Reborn Avengers, was known for its special guitar beats. He settled in Germany, where he helped to form the Bus Stop Band. By their third album, he became the group's lead vocalist. When the band disbanded in 1988, he continued to perform as a solo artist. George Darko becomes the second highlife legend to die in March, a month dedicated to the celebration of our music and culture.
Maxo Agbagba joins me in the studios as we wrap up. There's more tributes pouring in, I guess. And
yes,
what else people talking on social media?
A lot. Gabi Otredakun says, may he continue to sing in the company of our ancestors. May his sweet songs continue to remind us that the coffin remains a hot and lonely place. So let's make the best of what life serves us. Rest in peace, Nana. And this one from Yaw Ofusi says, hearing that one of my favorite high lifers ever, George Darko, has passed on. And it's a really sad moment for me. One of the pioneers of the Boga high life genre is gone. Yeah.
And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Living Word with Pastor Mensah Otabo. In Him, episode 8 is up next. I am MFR Paul.